Y'all need to see this epic meltdown by Mark Lamont Hill. Then I'm going to come back and give you some background.
I want to live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly, and you will
go
not
on then,
have
say it. Say the M.
Not have
go on, say
speech.
go on. Say the M word. Go on.
No.
Hang on.
No. I don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term in front of me, because I'm the only on here. So if she says it, I'm the victim of it. So please don't invite her for ratings to call me the N-word, because that's basically what it's going to be. There's a bunch of white people up here, you and one Uncle Tom on the left here, and asking her to say the N-word while I'm here is ridiculous. You would not sit here with a Jewish person and say, please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jewish. It's ridiculous. I understand you don't have any bad intent, Piers. I understand what you're trying to do, but we already know she's racist, and I don't want to invite a racial harm to me.
I hear you, and I accept that, and we'll leave it there.
Now, this was the discussion as to the Give, Send, Go that was donated to Shiloh Hendricks of over $500,000. This is in juxtaposition to Carmelo Anthony, the killer of Austin Metcalf, who has raised a similar amount of money. One, for murder, so that, as it was framed, to get a fair trial. The other for using an inappropriate word towards a 5-year-old child. That word, of course, was the N-word. I want to discuss why people are so triggered by it. I understand that historically it has a negative connotation, and one can certainly construe somebody that calls another individual of darker skin and describes them using this epitaph as not coming from a good place in their heart and meaning harm to the person and to denigrate them. I understand that. But why is the word given such power? This little baby, Mark Lamont Hill, can't stand to hear this from this ignorant woman. And I have the full video. I'm going to be publishing it after this one so that you guys can see the full context. But this was an ignorant blonde woman who was defending the use of the word. And there are reasons for it that were more articulated by Myron Gaines. And in the midst of complaining about the fact that Piers Morgan had asked her to use the N-word publicly, he calls Myron Gaines
one Uncle Tom on the left here.
Do you not see the irony there? Do you not see the utter hypocrisy that the left engages in on a frequent and regular basis? This is represented in this one meltdown by Mark Lamont Hill. And to think that you could be so injured by a word, a knife to the chest, now that might injure a person. But a word, that we allow that to have usurped so much power over our mental state and abilities. If you called me the shortest man alive, it would have no meaning. If you called me stupid, I would look at you like you were crazy. If you said that I was ugly, all right, so what? Okay, big deal. That's your thought. I don't care. You cannot allow people to have power over you with their words. It doesn't serve the individual. For our society to have a collective schema against this one word, it's a tripwire for humanity. What if somebody uses, like, NIGA is a word that was used by a UCLA professor during the Black Lives Matter period, where people were raising the fist and calling white people whatever they wanted and denigrating them and asking for all the advantages, while Black Lives Matter, the corporation, went out and stole all the money that was given to them and bought mansions with it. Wasn't that beautiful when ultimately you saw what a grift it was? But this professor used the word NIGA in Chinese. It sounds similar, and they wanted to fire him. They put him through the ringer for such a word that wasn't even the same one. This is the power that this word has over society. Does this help us? Is this useful? A word only has power over you if you allow it to. You are so much stronger if you can just brush it off. No big deal. Okay, I recognize you're a person that I don't want to deal with. You use that word in a derogatory manner towards me. But to make it as if you were dropped a nuclear bomb, that you had poisoned somebody's coffee, that you had plunged a knife into another man's chest, Carmelo Anthony, Those are very, very different things. They don't have the same injurious effect in this little baby Mark Lamont Hill. Don't say that word. I can't handle it. The racial aspect of it is just going to drive me insane. How dare you, Piers Morgan, ask this woman? And Pierce, the virtue signaler, disagrees with him as he did through the whole show. Again, that will be available shortly. But my point is that we should not allow this word to have such a profoundly negative effect on our emotional state, because that just shows that you are mentally imbalanced and that you are looking for an excuse to relieve yourself of the frustrations that you have towards somebody that uses the word. And again, I'm not advocating use of the word. I recognize the historical implications of it and the amount of venom that people perceive. And again, it's just a word. It's not real venom, but they perceive to be attached to its use. But again, what makes a person strong is when they are able to absorb or not be unaffected by somebody else's opinion. I don't really care. I'm in the position where I don't really care what too many people think of me at all, that it makes little difference. And I realize that that is rare for most people, and I did not used to be that way. It took me time to develop that, but I just encourage everybody out there to develop that within themselves, because when they are certain as to who and what they are, that we are all the image, the energy of God, of the universe, and we are just in this human body for this very short blip of time, and that we are here to make a difference and to be able to love, to be able to care about another person, to be able to make a positive difference in the world. And thus, when doing so, that energy in ourselves begins to vibrate at a certain frequency, that we feel elation, that we feel joy. That's what this world is about. And when we allow the opinions of others or the use of words to affect us to the way that this crazy man, Mark Lamont Hill, allows the potential use of it to allow him to break down in that manner, is not conducive for a warm and good and just society. We are represented in our mental stability by this man, Mark Lamont Hill, and certainly the left is. I think that this behavior is absolutely undignified, and it shows the utter weakness of their positions. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Peace.